Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's talk. And today I want to interview Ear Beauty about a topic she's an expert in. And we're going to talk about sexuality and how to transform sexuality from a very unconscious thing. And how we can work with it. So let's just take it from here. And Ear Beauty, how do you define sexuality? Let's just start there.
Like we're talking one topic, like you were saying, like sexuality is like sense, and sensuality is like, for me, sensuality is like we are in a sense, and we are in the feelings, and we are in an energy. And where I see today the word from sexuality to sex is two different worlds.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
And this word sex is also very interesting to see where it's coming from. And that's coming actually from the 16s. Like you start connected it to and change it to the word sex instead of could have write sensuality, like so you change it to another topic. So it was taking away from the time I was born in 69, was start taking away from the sense and the soul and the mind's connection. So I started already learning about it when I was little. I started already talking about sexuality when I was little, because I was growing up where it was everywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
And I asked people already when I was 3 years about, okay, have sex today, and how long is your penis, whatever. And longer time in my life, I was like, a little girl should not talking about this. And I realized, okay, it was because I already there was born to be someone who should change this sex back to the sense of sensuality and the feeling and all that. I know many do that in the world, but I still have a deeper level of knowledge I see missing, and people are so afraid of talking about. Because sexuality is connected to stress, it's connected to frustration, anger, shame. And what many don't know, in the moment they already have sex with each other, in the moment two men and women they already put shame and guilt into each other.
Literally.
Yes.
Physically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we are two different persons, because we have learned something from the porno. The man, he think he have to 1, 2, 3, like, and then he come, and he coming inside the woman, and he tired, and he cannot.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And she want more. And there already the respect and the fight starting. So the relationship already break from the moment you have the first time together. And that's not many talking about. And then many not talking about, there is an energy when the two meeting each other. So we should actually not put just our penis and vagina in each other with a lot of energies. I'll not be aware about it by myself also, so I have also be there. But there is energy between the penis and the vagina, and they should, like a kiss, they have to feel that they like each other. Yeah. And there is an energy there, and that have to match. If that not matching, you actually not can grow anything together. Because you cannot go to a therapist and learn to heal in that energy. You can probably maybe change your system, but I think it takes many years before they maybe then will like each other.
Yeah.
So it's very important to be aware when these two meeting. Do I like to be here, or do I like to have this here? And then feel, okay, what happened here? Is there vibration? No, it's not. But many are so focused on, because the Hollywood movie and the porno and magazine and the social media. And, oh, I'm so happy she looked like so good.
Yeah, she looks she looks like the way that I imagined her to look like.
Yes,
yeah.
and he looked like David Beckham, and he has a fancy car or a swimming pool, or so it's ending up being the look, the material things, and I have been there by myself also. So I realized, no, it's not that.
So it's really about going from the appearance of romantic relationships and sexuality and really finding what is exactly is the essence of it.
Yes.
And the essence has to do something with connectivity and sensuality and energy.
Yes.
And energy match.
Yeah. And learn to find out who are you by yourself first. And you should actually learn what we also don't learn, because, and I hope in the future we can change in the schools, because the children need to find out who I am a man and who I am a girl, or how you say, a woman. Of course we are a girl and boy when we're teenager, but we are on our journey to be a man and a woman. But you must learn, okay, who am I? What happened inside my body? And when you can get a sexuality with your own body first, then you can actually get a sexuality with someone. But when you don't learn your own sexuality first, and you don't learn to heal yourself first, and love yourself, and you should already start when they're going in school from 6, start learning breathing, meditations, and self-love. So, and they should have like a healing time in schools, so they could change, because we all are creating a story who not are in appearance, as you say. We're not creating a story of essence, where we need to come to the story of the essence.
Yeah, or you can say that there is no story in essence.
Yeah, exactly.
In essence, it's just what is.
Yeah.
You're just, but there's so many things we can talk about that we can go. But one of the starting point was that it's true that in the 60s there was a revolution in sex, but I'm not convinced that it was for the better.
Yep.
And because what was before the 60s was this very repressed, controlled sexuality, where it was only, you could only have sex if you want to have children and all that. And then in the 60s it was like everything was completely turned upside down, and now instead of having this very tightly controlled sexuality, now it was about free sex, and you can just follow any impulse you have, and you don't have to think about any consequences or take any responsibility. And children also were part of this whole sexuality thing, and there was no clear boundaries between adults and children and all that. And that's a very chaotic form of sexuality, and it's a very it can also be very destructive in a way, and because if we don't channel them into essence or actually, it just becomes this kind of unbridled hedonism where you can do whatever you want, and so we have a dichotomy here between tight control before the 60s and this chaos in the 60s and later on, and also the legalization of pornography that also came with it, and everything is becoming pornographic also on social media, and everything is, it's just about, it's very pornographic, and it has nothing to do with essence, quality, about true beauty, and it's just about these pornographic things where you just exploit the human body to make money. And so I just want to start there, and I just want to see if we can sort of create a higher order which does not shy away from the chaos and the control, but integrates the chaos of pre-personal sexuality and hedonism, the core of the appearance, you could also say. And then this tight response of control, where sex is sinful and it's shameful and it's all the, and put them in, and then but also go beyond it.
In the chaos is all also shame and So it's both when you are in the one there, and when you're also in the other. It's the same, and shame and guilt, and it's the same.
That's exactly how I see it. It is the same in two different versions, but it's actually the same. So we want to go to another place which incorporates and does not reject them, but integrates them into a higher framework.
Yes, exactly. Where because we have to come away from this shame and guilt inside us. Because if we're not, we will feel wrong all our life. And if we're feeling wrong all our life, we actually are here. We live, we breathe, we have a work, but we're not here. And sexuality is as important as drinking water. And that people not aware of. And you say, so coming from this chaos and the control, because we control, but the control is still also in some countries.
Definitely. Yeah.
But it's still in the countries, but they're still behind this porno is there still. Behind the control, they are also in this chaos. So they're both in chaos and control.
They attract each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, how you can say but it's because it's it's like I was saying to you, they say you must not say to your children, must not smoke a cigarette. Then they will do it. But if you say, here is a pack of cigarette, and that's the same, porno is still something you're seeing in, no one I see this. And it's the problem. Because it's still going to be something, it's not still, and we're living in 2025 soon, so it should be, if it was so open or so free, then it should be something we all could just put up on the screen when the children are there, because we have to stop that. But it should be something we just could put up if it was so good and not was full of shame, could just put it up on our laptop when we're together with someone. No one will do that. So that's gonna be, and it's like a taboo, but it's also what is the word like? It's gonna be like a secret.
Yeah.
And then you should see it's like something forbidden or something like.
Yeah, it is a paradox because porn is everywhere.
Yeah.
But yet it's still sexuality is still a taboo. So what's going on here?
Exactly.
How can it be that we are in we can see pornography everywhere, social media, on the buses, everywhere, in on television, and yet we still don't know anything about sexuality.
No, and men and women play a manipulation game. Also, all this escort things and all that, it's still there, and it's a game between the man and woman, because the men. They are so much in the as I told, the problem men have is they born with the penis is his brain. And when he don't can learn, his brain is here and he have to talk with this brain. But with this brain talking to this brain all the time, and I shouldn't just, so they can even always find money for that. They cannot get food. But they will always could find money for get a kick.
So it's an addiction. It is an addiction.
Big addiction.
Yeah, it's an addiction. Yeah.
But the women also know, okay, the men, they are there. And they, we can use them for that. To get a lot of money, because it's a very fast way to earn money. Of course, it damages your soul.
Yeah.
But
that's the price.
Yeah, that's the price, but it's a very fast way to earn money, to have freedom. But you actually, what men don't know, it's this, they think they go to this girl and she are beautiful, and she thinks she like her. She like him, but she don't. For her, you just are nothing.
Yeah.
Just a source of income.
And that's a very empty way of going into a relationship. And it's also a very, I think if you have to do that, you have to not be able to feel anything in your genitals.
Yeah, but also when they do, but many, it's so big market this.
Yeah.
And it's so big industry. And men, no matter if they have a relationship, they all running to this. I see it. We have a street called Skelbækgade in Denmark. If you're just standing there, and you can do that in Romania, whatever, I'm sure they all have it. I can go take from my own country where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But I have standing there for a whole day just to see what happened.
Okay. Yeah.
How?
Yeah. See, yeah.
Like a man who have a handyman with a child chair in his car. The child is in the kindergarten, but he coming there. And the girls are so young, and some are have taken so much drugs. So, but the importance of his things is so important. But then I asked them. I've stopped some of them and asked them, okay, it's very good, but you have created a child by yourself. Do you want it was your child who do this? And then they are like, no, my child will never do that. Why should your child never do that? If they already see the dad doing that, why should your child not also go this way?
So this whole world of prostitution, pornography, there's so much money in it. There's so much energy in it, and but it is an underworld.
Yes.
Which exists parallel with the normal functioning world, where people go to work and they have families, and then sometimes the men, maybe also the women in some cases, they go into this underworld to feed a kind of sexual addiction. And then when they're finished, they go back and live their normal. So there is a compartmentalization here, where you're both in the pre-personal underworld and you're in the personal functioning society. So talk a little bit about that, and what is the attraction of going from normal quotation and then into and then back, because the women and the people, also the distributors and they all live in the underworld. But a lot of the clients don't live in the underworld. So talk a little bit about that.
They don't live there, but today it's also not only men who are using this. I hear from one friend was on holiday. It's the woman taking there because they not feel fulfilled in the life, so they go like for 1 week to a place where they also can pay for a man to fulfill her. And what are we then if we paying for fulfill that, and we actually have each other who could fulfill each other? And no, it's not. But some of them also are so addicted to this, so they even also not can go through job without going to the toilet all the time to play with themselves.
So the addiction has completely taken hold.
Yeah. And it's because man, he's born with so high testosterone, and then it going into his brain gonna be here, and this brain is all the time saying hello, 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 I want, and I want, and he don't know how to.
Yeah. So, but now we are talking about how to get out of it.
Yes.
But because you have to redirect the energy.
Yes.
But before we go, I think that we can do that in the last bit. Before we go there, I'm just curious about, there are these functioning men and women who have maybe high profile careers, but everyone, and then there is this underworld, and it exists in a parallel. You can have one section of Copenhagen where I work in Vesterbro, where all this prostitution and this drug use and everything is going on at the same, maybe in the same space as all these functioning people who go to work, and it's all just in the same space, but they don't really see each other unless there's a kind of addictive gateway. And you go through it, and then now you're in the underworld.
But it can also just happen in your building.
Yeah.
You don't need only to go into this. How you can say this?
Yeah.
There, it's even more under.
Yeah.
But There are actually many who have like living in a fancy apartment, and you will from there, because this exclusive people want to come to some exclusive things.
Yeah.
So it's but also it's going to be this game between men and women can manipulate each other.
Yes. So there is also a power struggle between men and women.
Yeah.
And power struggle comes when, as you say, people don't feel content and they are not whole in themselves and have integrated the chaos and the control of the male and female aspects into their own psyche. So they play them out in a kind of war or power struggle with each other. And men and women collectively are not healed. Yeah. We are not healed and can go into a relationship with each other in a functional way. And we see that. I'm a therapist. We see that all the time, that mother and father, men and women are constantly fighting each other. And for what?
But it's already happened, as I was saying in the beginning, in the sexuality.
Yeah.
And the fighting, but then it's start to going out to the daily life.
Yeah.
Because they already are in the sexuality, it's not in alignment.
Yes.
And when that's not an alignment, it starts going out because you already have the shame and guilt and frustration and anger because you're not going to be fulfilled in your body's needs, or how you call it. Your body have to have this. Yeah. As I say to you, people don't understand water and sexuality. Yeah. You could live without anything else. You don't need food, actually. Yeah. But it's more important to get water and looking at porno and be desperate and living in detox relationship instead of finding out, how can I manage to find out what my sexuality is? So I don't start fighting with my partner.
I think also the reason why people are so frustrated is because we have this unconscious desire of melding into a union with the other sex, with our partners. So for instance, men have this, they want to melt into the female and become one again. And females want to melt into men to become one again. But as I've also talked about, that this is unconscious. This is an unconscious union. Just like when we're in the womb, we were unconscious. But the whole spiritual thing here is not about going back to unconscious union, but integrating all this and then coming into a conscious union of it. And so the frustration here is, in a way, to be separate from everyone else and not being able to lose yourself in the
and you end up being because the fight, like I say, it starts there because the man he sleep and she wants more, and he said, no, I don't want, and he don't aware of, he actually say to her, I don't care about you. Yeah. It's not something you do, anything I say, it's not purpose. It's not like you think, I want to hurt this person. But that's just a feeling you happen. And then she will start saying, and he, in the same time, he have in his mind, oh shit, in the porno it's showing I can keep going on, but I cannot. And she have seen this, and in Hollywood movie, how, the man, he gonna desire her. And then she laying there and she's like, hey, what happened here?
So I'm hearing two different things. I'm hearing biological frustration, but I'm also hearing a frustration with the story we're telling ourselves about how it should be, and then how it ends. Okay. Yeah. So, but that's two different things. Yeah.
But how it ends, but then they're starting with this, just in this moment, because she want to sleep and she want more. And then she said to him, hey, come on. And he said, no, I cannot anymore. And she feel nothing. And then her self-love will disappear because she will feel she's zero. And then she stopped wanting it anymore. And then they're coming this, but already there the fight was starting, and all the bad word will also start. You are.
And then the blame. The blame goes around, because if I feel discontent, then it must be someone else's fault, right? Yeah. that's a belief. Yeah. And so you start to blame everyone else and become a victim. Yeah. And
also because we don't use time to learn each other before we're doing this. Yeah. I've been there also.
Yeah.
we just meeting, jumping in the bed.
So the biological thing, it is about the man starting to redirect the energy, so the energy does not always go out of him, and so he gets depleted of energy. But so Tantra, if I understand it correctly, is about how do I circulate the energy within my own system, so I can both keep going, but also I don't lose any energy in the sexual act. Is that correct? Is that the core of Tantra? Yeah.
Both you don't lose your energy in the sexual act, but you don't lose the energy in your life also.
Yeah, in general,
You're gonna start being happy and full of energy.
Yes, yeah.
And the same when women learn to, also they must learn to circulate that.
Yeah.
And finding out when they get this.
When the energy drop happens.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that happens when they're gonna be touching sort of way, and then they also going like zombies. I call it that. So people go around in zombies, but they don't know. Tantra is about activate your body to be like a
life coming through. Yeah. That's very interesting. Yeah. So the man, how does, because if there is this unconscious thing where the energy wants to go out of the man, as you talked about, how do you start the process of redirecting this and getting the energy boosted in yourself? Or
you have to read a book called The Multi-Orgasmic Man. A guy had write, and you have to go to someone who have studied about it and know about it, because it's not some. But it takes also time as a man. You have to find out. Okay, I want to change, but you have to like breaking, like I call it this code. I say always, because it's all integrating in your soul. It's so deep layers. So it takes a long time to rip yourself out of this. And some never manage to do it because they
and then sooner or later, if a man does not change the path, then sooner or later the sexual energy just runs out of the man, especially when he gets older, right? Yeah. And then there's just the testosterone drops, and then there's just a lot of old men that don't really have any desire for sex anymore, because there is not enough energy in the system to,
But they still have the desire, but there is no system. And they're coming home and they just
depleted.
Sitting, but they're still inside the body, bond.
They
bond.
Yeah.
But because they still know this is calling inside the body. And the same with women. They when a woman, but the
so what does a woman do here?
How you say, like, a man, he will never forget this, but a woman, if she don't get touched, she don't get kissed or something for a long time, or for like 3-4 months, she starts forgetting what it is. I've been there by myself for 12 years.
Talk a little bit more about that. What happens exactly?
So I was in a relationship where we start after 3 months, we should kiss each other anymore. I'm like, okay, we don't do that, because I was young and I was like, okay. Don't like that. And when you don't do that, they start don't being anything. And the sexual was not there at all. And I have always been very sexual before. Yeah. But as soon as stopping, I forgot slowly who I was as a woman.
So it becomes a sexless relationship.
Yeah.
And
like
what
friends relationship.
Yes, you become like friends. And what happens? You go from a sex-filled relationship to and then you don't get content in the sex, you don't match, and then slowly you're on trajectory to go to the sexless. What happens here, and what does the sexless relationship feel like?
But it feels like, as a woman, you forget it, and when you then get a child, the child filling you up.
Yeah. Okay.
And then first, if you are lucky, you find someone who waking you up
sexually.
Then you start thinking again, oh my God, what is in my body?
Yeah. So it goes into a kind of sleep sexuality.
Yeah, in the woman.
Or a hibernation. Yeah.
Where in the man it's not.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah.
It's of course some men, because the testosterone is so low.
Yes.
Because there's a
difference. Yeah.
And they're different from which countries.
Yeah. And also the type of man.
Yes.
Yeah.
but it is there, more in as a calling,
as a drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he will always, no matter to die, be you. And I hear
That's
something very interesting.
Yeah.
Also, this monogame was coming from we are only with one. Monogame is only we not. Oh, monogame actually don't exist anymore because before we get into a relationship, we have been with a lot of other people.
Yeah.
So it's, and also in my age now, have reflected over can we be together with one for 20 years without we get a feeling to desire for someone else?
That's also an interesting question.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
but
it's interesting. So you're saying that the woman, she can kind of forget her sexuality if she's not, if there is no sensuality in her life.
Yes.
But the man doesn't really forget about it because he has this constant drive, this biological drive.
And also when the child comes, she forget it because she's going into the symbiosis with the child.
Yeah.
So if the man not, and that's no one learn the man, he must be the one who take action straight away to say, okay, it's good we have this child.
Yes.
As we talk about, make another channel with this, but it's okay we have the child, but he must start touch her and say to her, hey, we have a child.
To keep that alive as well. Yeah.
Our child is it's not your boyfriend or girlfriend. Like that's many parents and moms that get a relationship with the children.
Yeah.
I know they're not purpose and not thinking about it, but that's